Welcome back to In Case You Missed It Wrestling. It is Monday, so you know what that means. Monday Night Raw. We had a great Raw last week. It wasn't the best, but it was still a really good episode of Raw. So let's go ahead and dive into it because there's a lot to go over and a lot to talk about. We would start off the show with a video from earlier when everybody was entering the stadium. Nia Jax would attack Rhea Ripley and cause her to go to the medical tent. Directly after that, we would cut to the arena with Jey Uso, who would make his entrance. He would take literally 5 minutes to do it. I mean, I can't blame him. The crowd was really into it and everybody was behind him. I would probably take 5 minutes too if I had the liberty to do so, but it was an extremely long entrance. He says that Saturday Night Main Event is where he's taking home the big one. Gunther would make a swift entrance after he says that, and Gunther says he guesses Jay was going to say that he was going to beat Gunther at Saturday Night Main Event, and Jay says yeah, that he was going to beat him and take his title and hang it up in his room. Gunther fires back with saying that Jay is a really funny little man. Gunther would say that they both know that that is not going to happen. He would recall last week when Jay said he wakes up in the morning and looks in the mirror and bets on himself. Gunther said he believed him, and he was looking forward to this match until today when he saw Jey Uso make his entrance acting like a complete dork. Said he was acting like the company mascot for everyone here. Gunther says at this point it doesn't matter to him. He could have just as well challenged Jimmy Uso. Jay would fire back pretty quick with say something about my brother before Gunther would cut him off once again. Gunther would say, "What are you going to say? It doesn't matter what you say because you never follow up with your words." He says the people in the crowd are naive enough to believe every word that Jay says, but Gunther doesn't believe at all. He says Jay would bet on himself until his cousin, Roman Reigns, whistles, until Sammy needs him, until Jimmy needs him, until Cody needs him. He always shows up. All that makes him is a useful idiot, and he doesn't even realize it. He tells Jay that his words and his action don't align, but Gunther's always do. Gunther says Saturday he will expose Jay for being a flash in the pan and has no business being this close to the World Heavyweight Championship. Jay says Gunther is right again. Everything he said is true. He is the mascot, and the fans are his team and his squad because they ride with him and they slide with him. And they will be with him on Saturday for their match. He says that he respects Gunther, and come Saturday, Gunther will respect him too. Because there's only one of us standing in the ring that main evented WrestleMania, and it ain't Gunther. Gunther would then attack Jey Uso, but Jay would end up getting the upper hand and stand tall in the ring with Gunther on the outside. Backstage, we would see the New Day with JBL, and they would greet each other like old friends. The New Day would believe that JBL is on their side. Kofi would go on to say that JBL is the guest commentator for his match against the hypocrite and so-called locker room leader Rey Mysterio. They want him to talk up the New Day while commenting and put down any sort of disgusting smear campaign that's going on right now against them. Kofi would give him $2 as a bribe and believes that he understands he was part of a tag team and had to cut off the dead weight. Kofi would say it was a tough decision, but when you did, what happened? JBL would go on to have one of the greatest successes of his career. JBL says he doesn't blame them with Big E, the guy with all the big muscles, all the charisma, and all the personality. Everywhere you go, everyone loves that guy and is chanting New Day rocks because they want to see Big E. If they get rid of him, they've got to pay attention to you, I guess. The New Day would walk away very mad about JBL's backhanded compliments. We would cut to Bayley backstage with Kathy Kelly. Bayley was on every episode of WWE this week. She announces that she is officially back on the Raw roster and declares for the Royal Rumble and looks back on her win last year. She looks to go for a two-peat and says she could take on Tiffy or Rhea Ripley. Nia Jax would interject and say that she should forget about all that and that she is going to take Bayley out just like she took out Rhea. And she will do what Bayley couldn't do and take out Tiffany Stratton, and she will win the Royal Rumble. Bayley says she did see what Nia did to Rhea and dares her to try anything like that on her right now. Nia would walk away and say, "See you out there, Bayley." We would move into the first match of the night, which would be Rey Mysterio versus Kofi Kingston. The New Day would come out and cut their own music and pretty much just cut a promo all the way down to the ring without any music. I have heard from some sources that they will be getting new music here very soon. They're trying to get away from the old branding and get into the new branding that they will be using for, I guess, the foreseeable future. But during this promo, they would say that they've been doing this for too long to be disrespected like this. They're walking Hall of Famers, unlike JBL. Kofi would go up to him and take his money back before entering the ring. It's a very interesting entrance. I didn't hate it, but didn't love it either. This also was not their best match on either side of the spectrum. Rey Mysterio had a couple misses and Kofi Kingston had a couple of misses. It looked kind of bad. It's not a great match. I say it wasn't great. It was decent, right? It was an average 3-star match. Like, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it wasn't anything horrible either. I just know they definitely could have done better, and I expected them to do better, but it is what it is. JBL was awesome on commentary, and I would not be mad about him coming back more often to do commentary. He killed it. I love JBL, and he does a fantastic job with commentary. All of his clothesline stuff on the indie scene has been super cool, super fun to watch. I thought we were gonna get a clothesline tonight. Didn't. Was unfortunate, but JBL always has a chance to come back and do it. So who knows? The New Day right now is just kind of goofy to me, and not in like a good, funny way. They're just kind of like lame. And it kind of sucks because I've always really enjoyed the New Day. Xavier Woods would try to interfere in this match and would be thrown out as a consequence. Rey Mysterio would pick up the win with a surprise roll up while Kofi is arguing with the ref. The New Day would attack Rey Mysterio, prompting the LWO to come out and help. We go backstage again with Kathy Kelly and American Made. See Chad talking to the team in the background and said he was inspiring the team. He knows he has been the talk of the whole wrestling world this week, but he is man enough to know when he has a problem. And it started when he lost to Penta last week. He has had trouble with Dragon Lee before that and Rey Mysterio before that. But he thinks he has it figured out, saying he is getting help from Dominic Mysterio, and while he is helping Chad with his luchador problem, the rest of the crew has their marching orders. Ivy Nile declares her interest for the Women's Intercontinental Championship title, and the Creed brothers want the tag titles. Julius would cut a pretty harsh promo on the War Raiders, basically just calling them old and washed, and it was time to get the titles on a young team that can carry them well. American Made's goal is gold, and I can't say I hate it. Sami Zayn would then come out to the ring and cut a promo. He spoke with Pierce, and he is entered into the 2025 Rumble match. Rollins last week told him to help himself instead of taking so much time to help everyone else. It made him think about what he wants. He said it opened up a world of thoughts, like when he was 14 and wanted to be a pro wrestler along with the numerous amounts of other people, and the thousands that actually become pro wrestlers, and the even smaller group that are lucky enough to call themselves WWE superstars, and the even smaller group that cracks into the upper echelons to be the top guys where he is now. And he firmly believes that he is just as good as everyone else in that group, And all of that group is in this year's Royal Rumble. Sammy would say the only difference between them and Sammy is that they have a world championship to their name. Says he has had a great life and a great career, and he doesn't need a world championship to complete that. The fans have supported him, and that means more than any championship ever could. He doesn't need the world championship, but he wants it, and he is going to take it. And I, for one, am a fan of Sami Zayn, and I do hope in the year of 2025 we get to see a title belt around his waist that isn't a mid card or tag team title. Either one of the mainline titles would be fine with me. I would be happy with him facing Gunther again. I would be happy with him facing Cody. Either one of these would make me a very, very happy fan. Kevin Owens would make his interest, and Sammy said he knew it was a matter of time before he would come, and asks Kevin, how does he want to do this? Saying the whole world saw what you did to Cody Rhodes when he teamed with Roman Reigns. So how is this going to go down? Kevin says when he saw Sammy team up with Roman at Survivor Series, he was upset. But he started to think and realized it's not the same as when Cody teamed up with Roman. Because Sammy and Roman have a lot of history, just like Sammy and KO have a lot of history. Roman did some terrible things to Sammy that he chose to overlook, just like Kevin has done to Sammy and he has chosen to overlook. It's not that he overlooked them, but he forgave them, just like he forgave Roman, because that's who Sammy is. Sammy is a good person. He says Seth is right. You do a lot for other people, especially your friends, and Sammy is Kevin's best friend. And he is here to tell him that he believes in him and he can and will win the Royal Rumble because he deserves to win the Royal Rumble. Tells Sammy to think about the 20 years they have been together and the dreams they shared when they first met. They main evented WrestleMania and won the tag team titles, but there's one thing that they have never done, which is to main event WrestleMania one-on-one for the WWE Championship. And when Sammy wins the Royal Rumble, they will get that opportunity as long as KO walks out as champ. Kevin says he knows Sammy will win the Rumble because he's got his back, and he knows that Kevin will walk out as champ because Sammy has his back. Kevin says, as his brother, if he needs him, he knows Sammy will be there. We would move on from that emotional moment backstage to Kathy Kelly and Sheamus. Kathy would mention that Sheamus is an incredibly decorated wrestler and ask why the Intercontinental Championship is so important to him. Sheamus would recall some big moments and championship wins from his career, including his first WWE title beating John Cena just 6 months after joining the company. He said the IC title was the first one that truly grabbed him as a kid, and he's been chasing it for the last 5 years. He has been so close so many times, but the stars have aligned for him this Saturday, and he's finally claiming his destiny by winning the last championship he hasn't won. Braun Breaker would make his entrance and tell Sheamus to look at the championship. Breaker says this title is his, and this is the closest Sheamus will get to winning the title because this Saturday he is going to beat Sheamus and break him like an old man. Sheamus would push Braun, and Braun would walk away laughing. We'd move into Nia Jax versus Bayley. Pretty decent match, but we've seen it a lot in the last couple months, and so it just doesn't move me anymore. Smackdown, the women's division, has become incredibly repetitive, and they just moved a match that was, a normal weekly match from SmackDown to Raw this week. So, there's people that are watching Raw on Netflix that won't watch SmackDown or NXT. So I do understand that there are people that are seeing Bayley and Nia face off for the first time. But me as a fan who watches weekly, I am kind of tired of seeing Bayley and Nia face off so many times. Roxanne was in the crowd and would attempt to interfere, but would be stopped by Bayley. Nia would end up getting the win, but after that, Rhea Ripley would come out and attack Nia, and they would fight all over the ring with security breaking them up and trying to stop them. Rhea Ripley would end up challenging Nia Jax to a match for Saturday Night Main Event. We would then move backstage with the Judgment Day. Gable is asking Dom to help with his lucha problem. Dom says that he knows a guy and he can help him out and gives him a phone number. The Judgment Day would then begin talking about the tag match they have scheduled for tonight. JD mentions that Finn is laid up and won't be there for their match. Liv would mention that they haven't gotten anywhere under Finn's leadership, but Dom says he can replace Finn and the belts would stay within the Judgment Day according to the Freebird rule. JD is on board and they believe Finn will be happy with that too. Liv calls Dom a mastermind and says, I hope this plan goes better than the other one he had with Rhea. Dom says he thought she wasn't mad, and Liv says she was just joking before pulling him out of the shot. We would then catch up with Seth Rollins. Sami Zayn walks up to him and tells him that he really appreciated the talk last week. Sami says he needed to hear that, and it got through to him. Seth said he knows, and he heard the promo earlier. He would go on to say that he respects it, and he's been waiting for that version of Sami Zayn to come out, and he is almost rooting for him. But push comes to shove at the Royal Rumble, he won't hesitate to throw him over. Sami responds with, not if I throw you over first. But Karrion Kross is looming in the background. There is no word on who Karrion Kross is looking at in this promo, but I believe it'll be Sami. We would move into Penta versus Pete Dunne in another fantastic match. Pete Dunne would cut a promo during the commercial break and pretty much say that he is tired of the disrespect. Another fantastic match from Penta, a great match from Pete Dunne, and I hope Pete Dunne is able to gain the respect back that he definitely should have. He is an incredible talent. If you've watched anything from WWE NXT UK, you would know that. And even his run in NXT was incredible. And then since he's gotten to the main roster, he's sort of just kind of fell off, which is sad because I think he has the potential to be an incredible talent for the WWE and potential championship material. I do believe that on this night, we were treated to a future PLE main event without ever even knowing it. Logan Paul would have a vignette play announcing his return to Monday Night Raw. He will be making an appearance on tonight's episode, but we have no idea in what capacity. We would then see CM Punk inside of the concession area, making his way out to the crowd. He would walk onto a platform where Jackie Redmond is waiting on him, which was actually cool. It was so cool to see. It was really cool to get some fan engagement and also left for a really cool background for their interview. Jackie would ask him what sets him apart and how he feels going into the Royal Rumble, as it's an event he has never won, and this year is incredibly stacked. He says that he is a history maker. He main evented the first night of Raw on Netflix and beat Seth Rollins, someone favored to win the Rumble. He says it's a very fickle business and what have you done for me lately? And lately, he makes history and he will do it again when he walks in and wins the Royal Rumble. The pressure is on, and that is when CM Punk comes alive and when CM Punk thrives. Nobody can beat him when he's at his best and the fans are behind him. He then goes down the list of who's been announced and how he is better than them. It was truly electric, and I could not do it justice. So I suggest you go and watch it. It's only about 30 seconds, worth the time, I promise. He says he is settling scores, cashing in debts, and calling in favors if he needs to, and be the winner of the Royal Rumble. We would then see Pure Fusion Collective versus Damage Control. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark would face off against Io Sky and Dakota Kai. All of Pure Fusion Collective is so close to being amazing that it's sad to watch them not be. Zoe Stark is an incredible talent. She just needs a voice. Shayna Baszler is in that similar boat, but pairing them up with Sonya Deville maybe not be the best option. Because Sonya Deville isn't the best mouth. Sonya Deville also could use a mouth. If they all three had a good manager, Pure Fusion Collective could be a fantastic stable. But they get no crowd reaction. Nobody really cares about what they're doing. And it's sad to see this talent kind of go to waste in this way. Every woman in Pure Fusion Collective is incredibly talented, but they move absolutely no one. Absolutely no one. And it's really disappointing. I wish we could just send them down to NXT for just a little bit and let them kind of work on their promo ability, kind of work on talking, and kind of, get that ball rolling and then send them back up after they've won a couple feuds. And maybe they'll come in hot and they'll take over. And that would be incredible. Damage Control would end up taking the victory. And it was a pretty decent warm up for the main event. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins would then face off immediately after. And good Lord, these two men were made to fight each other. Their Mania match was incredible, even with a severely injured Seth Rollins. And this match, to me, was better. If this match would have been on Saturday Night Main Event, it would have stolen the show, without a doubt. This match was incredible. Seth would end up winning this match with a surprise roll-up, which I am kind of glad those are making a comeback. Not the distraction surprise roll-up, but just a, in general, surprise roll-up. Drew would end up being mad about the surprise roll-up and attack Seth Rollins afterwards. Sami Zayn would come out to save the day and attempt to hit Drew with a haluva kick, but Drew would move and he would kick Seth Rollins. And that is how we would end the show. The match of the night for the night, without a doubt, is Drew versus Seth. Incredible match. So good. Well worth the time and effort it would take to go and watch it. All I'm saying is we will be seeing them at Mania again. This is the caliber of matches that they are putting on just on a Monday Night Raw. We will be seeing this main event, a Mania, again. Tonight, it looks like we have another stacked card as Logan Paul is confirmed to be there in an unknown capacity. The War Raiders will face off against the Judgment Day in Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough for the World Tag Team Championships. Cody Rhodes will be making an appearance, and Adam Pearce, early this morning as I'm recording this on Sunday, announced that we will see Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre in a one-on-one match, and we will see the tag team champions in Naomi and Bianca Belair take on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So we are looking at a pretty good episode of Raw as the go-home show for the Rumble. NXT this week probably will edge it out as they are doing a special event outside of the Performance Center, and they usually go all out for that. But this week looks like it'll be another fantastic week of wrestling, especially with the Rumble being at the end of the week. And that will be it for Monday Night Raw. We have NXT tomorrow, and they put on a pretty okay show. It wasn't the best, but we're going to talk about it anyways. But for this one, we are done. So I will be seeing you tomorrow. But for this one, we are done. I am Blackhawk, and this has been In Case You Missed It Wrestling Monday Night Raw. I will see you tomorrow for NXT.